The sun hit the marble floors of the Moretti estate in sharp, blinding rays the morning everything changed, slicing through the tall windows like a spotlight placed by fate itself. It was supposed to be an ordinary day in one of the most dangerous criminal households in the country, but destiny rarely cared for routine. By noon, a capo would gamble with his life over a single act of kindness, a maid would learn the true weight of being seen for the first time, and a mafia boss known for his ruthless calm would lose control in a way his men had never witnessed before. If you're watching this and believe that kindness and second chances can change lives, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Mafia Boss Tales. Your support means the world. Arion Vale had been a capo for 7 years, long enough to know the rules carved into the bones of every Moretti soldier. You didn't touch what belonged to the boss. You didn't question his orders. You didn't cross emotional lines. And most importantly, you didn't draw attention to the shadows who served the household, especially the maid the boss had brought in 2 years ago. Her name was Mirea Fallon, a quiet, soft-spoken woman with a past no one dared ask about. She worked with the delicacy of someone who had learned to survive by becoming invisible. To many, she was just another worker in the enormous estate. But to Arion, she was a reminder of humanity in a world built on blood. He had noticed her long before he ever allowed himself to admit it. The way she lowered her head with respect but never fear. The way her trembling hands steadied when she concentrated on folding linens. The small smile she hid when she thought no one was looking. She moved like someone trying to erase herself, but Arion saw the truth. She wasn't weak. She was tired of being hurt. The Moretti mansion bustled that morning with preparations for an afternoon meeting. The boss, Arion Moretti, was known for a controlled temperament that chilled even his eldest enforcers. But that day, Arion sensed a storm brewing beneath the man's silence, and storms in the mafia world always drenched someone in ruin. As he oversaw the perimeter, Arion saw Mirea trying to carry a heavy crate of porcelain dishes across the sun-washed courtyard. She staggered, her knees shaking, and one wrong step sent the crate tilting. Arion rushed forward, catching it before it shattered across the stone. Her wide eyes met his. A flicker of fear, a flicker of gratitude, a flicker of a person long hidden. Arion gently set the crate down and stepped back, giving her space. Yet something inside him, something long silent, whispered that she deserved one moment of kindness. One moment of being treated like she mattered. By the time the meeting ended, tension hung in the estate like thick humidity before a storm break. Arion's mood had worsened, his patience was gone, his men avoided his gaze. And that was precisely the moment Arion made the choice that would change everything. He found Mirea near the side entrance, folding tablecloths washed in afternoon sunlight. Her shoulders tensed when she saw him, expecting a reprimand. But Arion only asked her if she had eaten. She shook her head. She rarely ate at the same time as the workers, always waiting until the kitchen emptied. He realized she had made herself smaller to survive. So he made a decision. Reckless, bold, almost suicidal. He invited her to dinner. Not a secret one, not hidden in shadows. He walked her out through the gates during broad daylight, where anyone could see, where guards could report it, where the sun illuminated every forbidden step they took. They entered a quiet roadside cafe, one far from the Moretti influence, where Mirea sat across from him. Hesitant and unsure, as if afraid existence itself might punish her for this moment of peace. She told him her story in fragments. A childhood stolen by a violent family. A fiancé who betrayed her trust. A world where she learned to survive by staying silent. The Moretti estate, despite its dangers, had been the first place where no one raised a hand to her, but also a place where she remained unseen. Arion listened without judgment, offering her the compassion she had been denied for years. It was the first dinner she'd had in a long time where she wasn't treated as a shadow. When she laughed, a small, fragile laugh, Arion felt something tighten in his chest. He realized then that his decision hadn't been reckless. It had been necessary. She needed to know she wasn't invisible. And for 1 hour, under the warm blush of afternoon sunlight spilling through the cafe windows, she believed it. They returned to the estate at dusk. The sky dimmed, and the world felt suspended in that dangerous moment between light and night. Arion felt the shift before he even saw it. The silent courtyard, the guards stiffly positioned, the growing dread. Veron Moretti stood near the entry steps, his figure encased in fading sunlight like a looming statue of judgment. His expression held no yelling rage, no thrown fists, just a cold, murderous stillness that was far, far worse. Everyone knew. The boss never lost control outwardly. His punishments were quiet, decisive, and permanent. Arion stepped forward, shielding Mirea behind him instinctively. He didn't say a word, but his stance alone confessed everything. He had taken her out. He had crossed a line no one dared touch. Dozens of eyes watched, knowing a capo could die for less. Veron's calm was terrifying. He walked down the steps slowly, each step echoing across the courtyard. For a moment, it seemed Arion's life would end there. But Veron stopped, looking not at Arion, but at Mirea. His eyes narrowed, recognizing something he hadn't bothered to see before: the fear she carried, the exhaustion, the quiet pain she tried to hide every day. And something in him cracked. The boss turned away abruptly, as if the sight of her weakened the composure he'd spent years cultivating. His hands trembled, barely, but enough for his men to notice. It was the first time in his reign that the Mafia boss showed a spark of emotional loss of control. No shouting followed, no threats, no punishment. Instead, Veron disappeared into his office and locked the door, leaving the entire estate whispering in shock. A capo had taken the maid to dinner, and instead of fury, the boss had broken his silence and cracked under the weight of emotions he never allowed to surface. In the days that followed, everything changed subtly yet undeniably. Mirea was treated differently, not like fragile glass, but like someone whose presence mattered. Arion wasn't demoted, exiled, or punished. Instead, Veron's distance became protective. He never spoke of what he felt or why he reacted that way, but the household shifted around the truth. Even the coldest man can be shaken by the sight of a person rediscovering their worth. Arion continued to support Mirea quietly. He didn't push her to feel anything she wasn't ready for. He simply showed up, with respect, patience, and an unwavering belief that she deserved more than survival. Slowly, Mirea transformed. Her steps grew steadier. Her smile appeared more often. She learned to speak without fear that her words would bring punishment. She learned she mattered. And somewhere deep within the mansion, Veron watched all of it in silence, his expression unreadable, but his eyes softer than before. He was a man used to control, and losing it, even for a moment, had changed him too. By the time the season shifted and warm daylight stretched longer across the estate, something unspoken had settled like peace over everyone. Kindness had rippled through a world built on violence, proving that even in the darkest places, light could force its way in. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, subscribe to Mafia Boss Tales, and share your thoughts. Your support keeps these stories alive. And before we end, filled up pointing triangle special request. Comment the word hope if you believe kindness can change even the coldest hearts.